Day 42. Today's been a bit of a funny day. It's been ups and downs and ups and downs, and I mean literally every probably 15 or 20 minutes it would be I'm absolutely fine, everything's going well, and then suddenly it just dropped to the other side of that. I mean, not massively into the point where we're getting into really bad territory again, but just the sort of anxiety hitting and the worrying about stuff and just feeling really on edge about things, and then 20 minutes later be fine again. And I could even think about the same situation when I'm in the better mode and I'd be absolutely fine with it and happy with it, and then as soon as it drops, think about the same situation and it becomes this most horrendous situation in the world, and then up back out of it again and it's absolutely fine and it's a bit of a non-event really. And it's been like that all the way through the day for 15-20 minutes at a time, and that's a little bit tiring because each time it drops down below that zero line, the kind of fight or flight mode kicks in, so my adrenaline starts going, my heart starts pounding, my whole body starts to feel like danger is imminent, but then of course it lifts back out of that and then it feels fine but drops back in again. That whole process restarts again. That can be slightly frustrating because there's no necessary logic to explain what's causing the up or the down, because the thing that is getting to me when I'm in the down doesn't affect me at all when I'm on the up, so it has no reason to change my mood. It's just like there's a switch somewhere that somebody's kind of playing with. And that's the feeling I had right from waking up this morning, was that today was just going to be a slightly on edge day. And I think that's about as close as I get to anxiety. I know there are people that struggle properly full on with anxiety in every situation, where there's that feeling of almost having a spider in the room that you don't want to touch, and it's this fear that makes you just incapacitated and it's hard to even try and do anything. But the closest I personally get to that is just that fight or flight mode of feeling like something is going to happen, even though nothing is going to happen. And actually the situation that I was thinking about today is not even something that is in the future, so it's not something that may or may not happen. So being anxious about the possibilities doesn't even make any sense. But that's what the chemical makeup of my body does, and that's the response that it has. And I can't control that when it's a response. I can try and develop coping mechanisms and things, but I can't control that response. I just have to try and come to terms with and resolve the particular circumstance that is going through my head when I'm in that place. And I've picked up on a couple of my side effects of my coping mechanisms, I suppose, in the last few weeks, which is things like keeping my coat on. I'll tend to walk into a building and not even notice the fact that I'm suddenly really hot because my coat's still on, and I'll leave my coat on and sit down and go about my life absolutely normally but with my coat on. And the thought to take my coat off won't even enter my head, even though from the outside it probably looks really obscure. And I think that's because I'm just trapped in the mindset of just focus on working through the motions, that I don't even think about little things like taking my coat off. And I also get imbalanced ears when I'm in a dodgy place, so I have to keep equalising my ears, so I do this to kind of pop my ears a lot. So you may have noticed that in some of the videos, you may have noticed that if you see me around. And I think they're the things to look out for, because in reality, the mode that I'm in when my mood does drop is not in a mode where I want help. So I won't necessarily ask for help, I'll just get lower and lower and lower. But I think for me, having somebody that knows and can identify those side effects and knows how to then approach me if I am demonstrating those side effects is a potentially helpful safety net. But as a day on the whole, it feels a bit like I've crammed a whole week's worth of emotion into one day of ups and downs. Not necessarily really highs and lows, but just the constant variant of the emotions. And that makes the whole day feel like a little bit of a blur, and almost like two different lives running parallel alongside each other, that I keep deciding to watch one for 20 minutes and then the other for 20 minutes. But the positive news is that this is all happening now probably 5 steps higher than it was 3-4 months ago. So all moving in the right direction, and share, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.